Hey everyone, I'm glad to be back with you. Today we are going to talk a little bit about your show coming up. So we're going to talk about your chicken handling as well as showmanship and the difference in showmanship and type. Now before you get to the show, there's a lot of preparation that goes into getting your bird ready. We're going to talk about what we call our show bots here today. First thing you might want to invest in is a showmanship stick. Now this can be used, it can be a regular stick, it can be a telescoping stick like this, whatever you need to help train your bird for the showmanship table. I recommend doing this a couple months and working about, every other day or so with your bird that you're going to use for showmanship, so they're used to you, they're used to the table, all that good stuff. So that's what your showmanship stick is for. Now, our day of show or prep kit or fitting kit for our chickens includes several different things. First of all, nail trimmers. These you're going to use to trim the bird's nails if they're really sharp, if they are uneven, that sort of thing. You want to make sure that you use a safe, large pair of nail clippers for that. We also have general rags that you can use to wipe your bird down, make sure that they're free of discharge on their face, all that kind of stuff. Make sure they're nice and clean with their legs as well, because their legs, will have lots of things that build up on them. But that's what your rags are for. Old toothbrush you can use again to make sure that their comb and their beak are nice and clean. You can even put a little Vaseline on these and brush their feet so their feet are nice and clean and shiny for the judge. And then finally, some baby wipes just to give your bird a nice clean look, a real quick little day of show bath that you can wipe them down, and now your bird is ready for the showmanship table. One step you want to make sure that you get completed before your show is to bathe your chickens. Now the way to do this is to have two different containers here with about halfway up full of water. One is going to be just plain water. One is going to be a water soap mixture. So this is going to be our plain water bin. You just put your chicken in, you get them wet all over their body, making sure you steer clear of their head with water. You want to make sure that you get their tail, their legs, their backside, their underneath, their wings, all that. Then you move the bird to the soap bin and you soap them up all over, making sure that you get every single inch of your bird, again, steering clear of the head with that soap and that water. And then once your bird is nice and lathered and soaked up, you come back over to just the water bin and you rinse off your bird, and they're ready to be dried and shown. Is how to remove your bird and carry your bird when you are removing it from its travel cage and you're taking it to the showmanship table. The one key part you want to always remember is whether you're taking your bird in or out of its cage or its carrier, it's always head first. I'll show you what I mean. When you go in to reach for your bird, you want to maneuver the bird to where it's always head pointing towards you. Before you remove the bird from its cage, you want to make sure that you have a hand on top as well as a hand underneath, holding the legs underneath the bird. When you're ready to remove it, you gently lift up on the bird and bring them out head first. Now if we brought them out backwards, you have the potential for them to open up their wings and hurt themselves as you're removing them from their cage. So always remember, whether they're coming in or out of the cage, it's always head first. Now, when we are going to set up and take our bird to the showmanship table, you want to tuck in the bird into your elbow, just like you would a football. Make sure that you have your hand underneath the bird, intertwined with the legs of the bird, and your other hand on top. And you just simply walk your bird to the showmanship table. Now, when you get to the showmanship table, you want to make sure that your bird will stand on their own. You want to make sure that they are sideways so the judge, the person across from the table from you, can see the bird full on. They can see every part of the bird, and you want to make sure that that bird is going to sort of stand up by itself and sort of look around, walk around, that sort of thing. When it comes to showmanship, there are several key points that you want to keep in mind. One, you want to make sure that the head is nice and up, the eyes are clear, there's no discharge or drainage coming from the nostrils or the mouth. Two, you want to make sure that their feet are clean, make sure that their feet are free of debris and any kind of residue that might be on the foot. And you also want to make sure that their tail is clean and their wings are clean and tucked into their body just like this. With showmanship, you are actually being judged on how well you as the 4-H'er can show your bird as well as the knowledge of your bird. So with showmanship, you want to make sure that you are ready and prepared for the judge's questions. And that's basically it with showmanship. You make sure that your chicken is all set up and ready to go, and you wait for the judge and their questions. The other part of your poultry show is going to consist of a type class. When we talk about type class, that means that the judge is looking at the birds, in particular a class of 3 birds that you brought to the show, and seeing how well they are and how they match up for production. With the birds that you are using for your show, they're a dual purpose breed, but primarily we're looking at egg laying potential. So what's going to happen is the judge is going to take your bird, maybe one, maybe all 3. They're going to hold the bird just like we've talked about, just how you can hold the bird. And they're going to come down and sort of turn the bird upside down. They're going to take their fingers and they're going to look for the pelvic bone, which is a bone that has 2 points that come out towards the back of the chicken. They're going to check that pelvic bone and see how much depth and how much space is between there, because that's going to directly correlate or tell the judge how good of an egg-laying chicken that bird is going to be. Now, when we're talking about a dual-purpose breed, they're also used for meat production. So, when we're looking at our bird for meat production, we are looking at mainly the legs and the breast of the bird. So, your judge is going to come and look. They're going to look up here at what we call the hock. The hock of the chicken is what a chicken leg is made of. So if you eat a fried chicken leg, that hock is where the meat part is. And then, of course, the chicken breast is going to be right here in front of the bird. The judge is going to check that out, see how much depth, how big that is on your bird. They're going to take an average of the 3 birds that you brought for a score, and that's going to be your type score for the type competition at your chicken show.